ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Dear friends, I am happy that we are starting a new text today in the Advaita Academy series. We have so far completed 8 texts. We started with Bhagavad Gita. We studied the entire Shankaracharya Bhashyam Bhagavad Gita that went on for about more than a year. And simultaneously we also started studying some Upanishads. And we studied about 6 Upanishads. Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, then Taittiriya and Mundaka. Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Taittiriya, Mundaka. All the 6 Upanishads along with Shankaracharya's Bhashyam we read line by line and we studied. And we also studied the Viveka Chudamani. The last book which was completed was Viveka Chudamani. The entire Viveka Chudamani, 580 verses we studied. And now we are going to study another slightly bigger text. Why slightly? Is a fairly big text called Panchadashi. It is otherwise called Vedanta Panchadashi. Vedanta Panchadashi is a very, very famous text. It is almost a summary. It contains all the aspects of Vedanta Shastra. Not exactly one particular aspect of Vedanta Shastra. For example, when we studied Viveka Chudamani, we categorized it as a Prakarana Grantha. And Prakarana Grantha is a text which focuses on one aspect of a particular Shastra. It may leave out some, aspects. For example, Viveka Chudamani, it focused on the Mumukshu, it focused on the seeker. And from his point of view, it started analyzing things. Viveka is Vichir Prathak Bhave, that is, started analyzing things. Started analyzing Anatma and analyzing Anatma, distinguish this Anatma from Atma. So that is what it did. And that is the reason why it started with the external world. It started with analysis of the internal world. Analysis of the internal world started with analysis of the Sthula Sarira, Sushma Sarira, etc., etc. It studied all that. And slowly, what is your real nature? It started questioning. So that is what the focus was on, knowing what is the real nature of a person and what the Shruti says and how to get that Shruti's statement into our own experience. Shruti says you are that, but how to get that into our own experience? If we have to get it into our own experience, we also do some exercise. Simply, if you read some book on boxing, you will not become a boxer. Bodybuilding, you will not become a bodybuilder. So you have to do some exercise also. So that is how it also tells some exercises. Exercises in self-purification. These are all exercises in self-purification. And that self-purification has to go to that level that the mind or ego, which is the block for realizing this moksha or realizing the real nature, that block has to be removed. That Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, that Hridaya Granthi is that block. That is, mind itself is the block, and also mind also is the tool. So this block has to be removed. So that means mind has to be totally neutralized. So that is what we saw. The focus was only on that. How to do that Atma Anusandhanam, etc., etc. So that is one Prakarana Grantha. But here Vedanta Panchadashi, this Panchadashi of Vidyaranya, Saint Vidyaranya, is also, it is called, it is actually having 15 Prakaranas. It is having 15 Prakaranas, and each Prakarana can be read independently. It is not as though they are like 15 chapters which have to be read one after the other. You can start with chapter 1, that is Prakarana 1, which talks about Pratyak Tattva Viveka, or you can start anywhere in the end. 15th chapter also you can start, that is Vishayananda. That Vishayananda has been put at the end. It could have been somewhere in the middle, but somehow for some reason our Vidyaranya has put it in the end. So anyway, these are 15 prakaranas, which means it studies the 15 aspects of Vedanta Shastra. And more than 15 aspects, what are they? There are 15 different subjects which are there in the Vedanta Shastra, different aspects which are there in the Vedanta Shastra are totally studied. So that means the entire Vedanta Shastra is there studied in this. So that is what is the greatness of the text. And Vedanta Shastra means the summary of all the Upanishads. Automatically you get all the summary of all the Upanishads statements, so many statements, hundreds of statements from so many Upanishads you get in this. So you get a sort of complete picture of what the message of Upanishads is. So that is what it is. And we have to know a little bit about this sage Vidyaranya. This gentleman, the writer's name is called Vidyaranya. Vidya plus Aranya, Vidyaranya. Vidya, you know, is a forest. Vidya is knowledge. Aranya is something like is forest. So Vidyaranya means something, a person who has got such immense knowledge or immense vidya. Maybe from in that way we can take that meaning. But the original name of this Vidyaranya was Madhavacharya. Madhava and Sayana were two brothers in the early 14th century. And there is the history of this Vidyaranya, if you see, not early 14th century, it is 15th century. And if we see the history of this sage Vidyaranya, in fact there are several books, the history, Madhava Vidyaranya Charitra, etc. There are some books in Telugu also. If we see the history, this Vidyaranya or Madhava, he was actually a minister in the when the Kakatiya Empire was there. Kakatiya Empire, you know that Kakatiya Empire, that Khilji and those people, I don't remember exactly the Sultan who destroyed that Kakatiya Empire, that I think Khilji or somebody. So when that empire was destroyed at the end of the 14th century, this Madhavacharya was one of the ministers there. And this Madhavacharya, he migrated to Karnataka at that time. And two princes from this Kakatiya Empire, Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya, they were captured by the Muslim people at the time. They were converted into Islam. And to the greatness of this Madhava, he actually reconverted them to Hinduism. He reconverted them to Hinduism, he motivated them, he inspired them, and then he inspired them to establish a kingdom, to start a kingdom at Hampi. Hampi, we know, that is in Karnataka state. The Hampi, that even now people visit, and the ruins of Hampi, they are so famous. In fact, there is a very, very famous book on the Vijayanagara Empire. We don't read much about the Vijayanagara Empire, though that empire ruled the South India for about 300 years. The entire Vijayanagara Empire, there were successive dynasties. So those dynasties, they ruled the South India for about 300 years, but we don't read anything about that because our history books are written by our communist friends. They don't want anything good to be written about India. So they only want to write about the conquerors and not about the people who are conquered. So anyway, so this Vijayanagara Empire, there is a well-known book called A Forgotten Empire. In fact, very rightly titled A Forgotten Empire, because it is forgotten by all these historians. Nobody is bothered about it. So A Forgotten Empire by one, I don't know whether he is a British gentleman or what, Robert Sewell, A Forgotten Empire. That book is very much available. Even in the bookstores, that book is available. So that empire was started by this Harihara Raya and Bukkaraya, who were actually reconverted to Hinduism by Madhavacharya. And this Madhavacharya had a younger brother called Sayanacharya. This Madhava and Sayana, they were not only very well learned in Vedas. Madhavacharya, he was also a minister. He was, as I said, he is a kingmaker, we can say. And he was sitting on horseback and he was fighting with the invaders on one hand. Even he was a minister, he was actually sitting on horseback and fighting. So such a person was he. And at the same time he was such a great scholar. And the Veda Bhashyam, if we see, it is called Sayana Bhashyam or Vidyaranya Bhashyam. It is otherwise Sayanacharya, the younger brother of Vidyaranya, seems to have written that Bhashyam. As we see, from the introduction of Yajurveda Bhashya and also Rigveda Bhashya, there are a couple of lines which is quoted in the introduction by Sri Pullala Sri Ramachandrudu here. So the lines are Saprahan Rapatim Rajan Sayanaryo Mamanujaha Sarvam Vetyesha Vedanam Vyakhya Trutve Niyujyatam. When this Bukkaraya, requested this, Bukkaraya is that king, Harihara and Bukka, they were the kings. So when he requested Madhavacharya to write a commentary on the Vedas, he seems to have advised, no, my younger brother is more competent. See, he is very, not more competent, he is very learned. Sarvam Vetyesha Vedanam Vyakhyatrutveni Yujyatam. He knows everything about the Vedas. You please employ him for that Vyakhyatruttvam. Then Ityukto Madhavaryena Veerabukka Mahipatihi. So, as per the advice of Madhavacharya, he requested this Sayanacharya to write a Bhashyam. So, this Sayanacharya wrote that Bhashyam on Vedas. It is called Sayana Bhashyam. In Andhra area, somehow it is called Vidyaranya Bhashyam. We do not know why. It is known as Vidyaranya Bhashyam. But all over India, it is known as Sayana Bhashyam only. So, this Sayana is younger brother of Madhava, as I said. And this Madhava, after establishing that Vijayanagara Empire and all that, he became a monk, he became a sannyasin. He became a sannyasi, he was heading that Sringeri Peetham. We know that Sringeri Peetham was established by Shankaracharya. There were 4 Peethams. Amnaya, as we say, Chaturamnaya, that is 4 Amnaya, 4 Peethams were established by Shankaracharya. That is Sringeri, say Puri, then what is this? Badri and what is that? That is on the western side. So this Dwaraka. So Dwaraka, Sringeri, Puri and Badri. So these 4 ashramas were said, 4 matha, they were established by Shankaracharya. And this Sringeri Peetham was headed by our Madhavacharya for some time. So that is the what can we say, a very versatile, a very all-round personality of this gentleman. He was a fighter on one hand, he was a scholar, he wrote, he established an empire, he inspired people, so he is such a person. So this is the brief background of this sage Vidyaranya. And it is said that the whole book is not written by him. We are not very sure. I am not going into the details, because if we go into the details, we have to do some research on who was Sayana and who was Madhava and who are all his contemporaries and all that. So that is a research. That becomes a sort of somebody who is an editor of the text. It is his job. Somebody who is an editor of this text, he has to, if he wants to make a critical edition, if he wants to bring out a critical edition, he has to then study as to say up to what portion was written by Madhava, and up to from there the remaining portion, who wrote that remaining portion, etc., etc. We will not go into detail. So tentatively we will take it for granted that it is a work by Vidyaranya. We will only see as to what is the content of the text. So we will follow as to what is the content of the text. So the text which I am following is published by Vavilla Ramaswamy Shastrilu and Sons. It is a very famous publishing house, for the last 150 years, and it is in Chennai, and also spread to other places also. This Vavilla Ramaswamy Shastri did yeoman service to the dharma and for preservation of our ancient literature. So this book was also published by Vavilla Ramaswamy Shastrilu and Sons. It is in the Telugu script, the Sanskrit text, along with the Sanskrit Bhashyam, and some Telugu explanation also. It is there in one book which is of this size. It is a fairly big book, about 1000 pages or something like that. Yes, about 1000 pages. And there is that Sanskrit text in Telugu script, and also Sanskrit commentary by one Pandita called Ramakrishna Pandita. He is also a fairly old writer. Old in the sense, he is said to be a direct disciple of this Sayana Madhava. He is said to be. We are not very sure. And he has written a nice commentary on this particular text. So that is the background. And if we see the textbook, as I said, it is having 15 chapters. So these 15 chapters are also called Prakaranas. These 15 chapters, they are called Prakarana. And the structure is that the first 5 Prakaranas, they are called the Viveka Panchakam. Panchakam means a group of 5. Panchakam is a group of 5. Viveka Panchakam. Viveka is what? Viveka is to discriminate. To discriminate in the sense to analyze and remove the chaff from the grain, what is anatma, what is atma, etc., to distinguish A from B. Distinguishing one thing from the other is what is called viveka, vichir prathak bhave, that is the root. So here it is actually starting with what is called tattva viveka prakaranam. Tattva is that pratyak tattva viveka. Pratyak tattva is the reality of the innermost self. What is the reality of that innermost self? So that is, it directly goes into the question. So similarly, the other things which are analyzed are Mahabhuta Viveka. Mahabhuta is the Panchamahabhuta, as we say, Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha. Then Panchakosha, the 5 sheaths which we saw, which we studied in Taittiriya Upanishad. So that Panchakosha Viveka. Then Dvaita Viveka, analysis of Dvaita or duality. Then Mahavakya Viveka, examination of these Mahavakyas, etc. These 5 are the Pancha, these are the 5 Viveka. These 5 are called Viveka Panchakam. The next 5 are called Deepa. Deepa Panchakam. Deepa means light. It is focusing light, isn't it? When you focus light, what do you get? Where you can see objects very clearly. So as the text, as the word itself indicates, it is something to do with, it is talking about what is called consciousness, what is intelligence, what is, it is an analysis of consciousness, what exactly is knowledge, what is samvit, that is the, say, Panchakam. So that is called Chitra Deepa Prakaranam, Trupti Deepa, Kutastha Deepa, etc., etc. We will see that. And the last 5, it is called Ananda Panchakam. Ananda Panchakam is, it is making an analysis of different types of Ananda. When I eat some Rasgulla, I get some Anandam. When I take a nice coffee, I have some Anandam. And when I have some other object, I have some Anandam. So these are all Vishaya Anandas. When I sit for meditation, I also get some Anandam, some Yoga Ananda, Dhyana Ananda, etc., etc. So all these types of Anandas, they are analyzed. And what is the highest type of Ananda? Highest type of Ananda is that Brahmananda. It is called Yogananda in this particular book. It is called Yogananda. So anyway, this Ananda Panchakam. So altogether, there are about 1570 shlokas. 1570. And the largest one is Chitradeepa Prakaranam, which is having about 289. No, Trupti Deepa Prakaranam, which is having 298 verses. And followed by Chitradeepa Prakaranam, which is having 289 verses. So all these things, if we see, about 1570 verses. And if we recall, we took about more than a year for studying Vedanta this Bhagavad Gita. Then Viveka Chudamani also we took maybe a year or less than a year. Viveka Chudamani, strictly speaking, less than a year because there were lot many gaps in between. So but Bhagavad Gita, if you see, more than a year. That is, we read the entire Bhashyam and all that. So this also may take fairly long time, maybe about a year or a year plus. So that is the structure. But once we get into the subject, we may move faster also. Some slokas will be rather tough in the sense we have to analyze, understand properly. And some slokas, because you have already heard these Upanishads, you have already heard Gita Bhashyam and Upanishad Bhashyam and also Viveka Chudamani, so you know all those things. For you, lot many shlokas will be like a repetition. So in some places we may move fast, but for the sake of a general listener, we will also go slightly slow. So that is what it is. So we will just see further. And if you just talk about Vidyaranya's style, we have just completed the Viveka Chudamani of Shankaracharya and we were so happy with the style. We were so happy with so many similes and metaphors and so many such nice, beautiful language and beautiful poetry. And on so many occasions we were appreciating the poetry. So but here in Vidyaranya, it is a total contrast to that. You don't find such poetry and such beauty in that poetry and all that. His language is more precise, very, very precise, very, very critical, very analytical, very, very compact, very, very terse style. So that is what we see here. And not only that, he packs so much of information into one sloka. Into one verse he packs so much of information. There are at least 2 or 3 sentences in one sloka. In some slokas, there are at least 2 or 3 sentences, small sentences into that. So we have to see, break and then we have to read them. So it is like that. And sometimes it is very harsh also. Vidyaranya is not very, very tender to his opponents. He is not very gentle to his opponents. He is very, very strong. sometimes very combative and argumentative, and some shlokas are like giving a slap on the face of a person. It's like it is as though Vidyaranya is just giving a slap on our face. So some shlokas are like that. And also illustrations, he gives very, very practical illustrations from day-to-day life. So that is the style of Vidyaranya. And Ramakrishna Pandita, as I said, he seems to be a direct student of Vidyaranya or Madhava, Sayana, we do not know. But he has given nice commentary. And in addition to Ramakrishna Pandita's commentary, I am told there are two more commentaries on Vedanta Panchadashi, which I have not read, I have not seen, I have not read. But this Ramakrishna Pandita's commentary is fairly good. It is good, and then we can follow. I am actually broadly following it. And I will not be reading out the entire commentary because that will be an exercise in Sanskrit. I will only read out a few lines here and there where some words have to be explained. I'll take some excerpts from this commentary of Ramakrishna Pandita. So that is what it is. And now with this brief introduction, I think we can, in this introduction, anything more I have to say? Nothing much. We can straight away get into text, because our writer also, he straight away gets into the text without actually starting with the ABC, etc. He is straight going into the analysis of what is your real nature. That is taking the bull by the horns, as we say. So before that, there are two prarthana shlokas. We know that all the texts in our tradition, all the writers, they start with a prarthana shloka. And this prarthana shloka is usually to the Guru. And it also gives the meaning that the Guru is not different from that Supreme Reality. So Guru and Supreme Reality are one and the same. So that is what we see. Because the Guru also is a Brahmagyani, Brahmavit. And this Brahmavit is not different from that Supreme Brahman. So that is how we see all the prayers in all Vedanta books. We see the prayers usually, the Guru undistinguished from the Supreme Reality. Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti. So that is what we see in regarding that Dashinamurti Stotram also. So here let us start with the first shloka. I will be reading out shloka. You need not repeat, because if you repeat it will take a long time. So the first shloka is about the prayer. Om Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Grasaika Karmane. So he is referring to one Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Grasaika Karmane. That is it. Namaha. Namaha is my salutation. To whom? Shri Shankarananda Guru. Shankarananda is the name of the Guru. And Shankarananda is also a very famous personality in our entire Advaita tradition. If we see, he has written two books. That is, one is the Bhashyam for the Gita, Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam. It is a very famous Bhashyam, and it is there with me. I don't know whether anybody has translated it into English. It's a wonderful Bhashyam. It's a good Bhashyam. And he has written another book called Atma Puranam, which I have not seen, but it is a very, very famous book. Atma Puranam is a very famous book. It is supposed to be a wonderful summary of all the Upanishads, Atma Puranam. It is not a Purana in the sense of other Puranas, like Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana, etc. Not like that. Atma Purana is a very, very serious text which is said to be a summary of all the Upanishads. So, this Shankarananda Guru Pada Ambujanmane. Ambujanma is what? Ambujanma is a lotus. Ambu is water. Ambujanma is that which is born in the lotus, which is born in water, that is lotus. Ambujanmane is Chaturthi Vibhakti. Padambujanmane Pada Kamala. My salutations to his Pada Kamala. Ambujanma Pada Kamala. Kamalam, what is the speciality of Kamalam? Kamalam, it doesn't attract any dirt. Even if there is it may be born, it is something which is born in water, it is born in mud and all that, but when it is there and it is so bright, and then it doesn't allow any type of dirt on it. So that is such a clean thing it is. So Padmapatram Ivambhasa, we also read in Bhagavad Gita. That is something which is untouched by any sort of impurity. That is what is the overall meaning. It is untouched by any type of malam, any type of impurity. So that is what is Ambujanma. Then Savila, and what is the duty or what is the work that Padambujanma is doing? Padambujanmane, what is the work it is doing? Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. And what is the karma? What is the activity which that Padambujanma is doing? Padambujanma is actually doing Savilasa Mahamoha Graha. Graha, you know what Graha is? Graha is something which grabs. Graha, Graha Dhatu. Graha is grabs, that which grabs. That is a crocodile. The crocodile which grabs, that Makara. And what is that Makara? Mahamoha. Mahamoha is the Makara. Mahamoha is great delusion. What is that great delusion? What we call Ajnana. Ajnana is the Mahamoha. This Ajnana Mahamoha is like a Graha. Graha is a crocodile. And what is the Mahamoha doing? Savilasa. Savilasa means it is dancing around in such a fashionable way. Vilasam. You know what is the Vilasam? Vilasam is happily enjoying and all that. That is Vilasa. So that is, it is so attractive, it is so seductive, the world which is presented by this Mahamoha. In other words, Maya, which is again called Ajnana. Ajnana is present. Ajnana, from Ajnana itself is the cause for the ego and all that. And the ego and mind, they produce so much of beautiful things around us. So that is all these attractions which are there in the world. That is the Savilasa. So all this Karya Varga means all the effects of Mahamoha which we see around us. So Savilasa Mahamoha Graha, up to this point is that crocodile which is say the Mahamoha, or rather Savilasa means along with the Karya Varga, Savilasa along with the Karya Varga, the Mahamoha, this Ajnana is like a crocodile. And that crocodile is being swallowed. Graha Grasaika Karmane. Grasaika Karma means swallowing it is the only job. Swallowing that crocodile is the only job of what? Of the Guru Padambuja. That Guru Padambuja is actually doing the job of swallowing the crocodile, that is Mahamoha. So it is not even killing. If you kill something, the dead body will be there. So swallowing means even the body is not sealed. So that is it. So it is another wonderful thing, you see. If you destroy it, if you kill it, it may be there. It is like swallowing. Nishipita Mandhatamasam, says one poet. That is, when moon arises, moon as though it has swallowed the darkness. The moon has swallowed the darkness. Similarly, it is told about the sun also. When the sun rises, he swallows the darkness. So like that, in that sense, so this Savilasa Mahamoha is like a Graha, like an elephant, like a crocodile, and that crocodile is swallowed by this Padambujanma. Padambujanma is Pada Kamala. Then Graha Grasaika Karma. Grasaika Karma means that is the only job. That is, it is so effectively doing it. So in fact, there is, we can also recall Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra, in that Gajendra Moksha also, that crocodile which catches the foot of that Gajam is Mahamoha only, Ajnana. That fondness, that attachment for the samsara, that is that moha. And who is Gajendra? Gajendra is the human being. Gajendra is the human being whose ego is really so strong, and then who is so strongly attached to the worldly things. So that is Gajendra. So that is it. So in this, if we see the commentary of our Ramakrishna Pandita, then he says, then Vishaya Prayojane Sucheti, then Paripakvamalan Yetan. Yeah. So Shankarananda. So he explains the word Shankarananda. You see the Shankara, Sham Karoti iti Shankara. That is one who is very auspicious. Shankara, not merely that Shankara who is there in Kailasa Parvata. Shankara refers to supreme reality. Shamkaraha, Shankarascha, asau Anandascha. There is also Ananda. That is that supreme bliss. That supreme bliss is otherwise called Shankarananda. That is Pratyagavinna Paramatma, he says. The meaning of Shankarananda is Paramananda Rupaha. Ananda is Niratishaya Premaspadattvena Paramananda Rupaha Pratyagatma. So that Pratyagatma, that Jivatma is that Paramananda. Shankarasyanandasya iti Shankarananda Pratyagavinna Paramatma, he says. That is Paramatma which is not different from the inner self. So that is what is Shankarananda. The Paramatma, the Supreme Reality which is not different from your own inner self. So that is what he says. And then what else is there? Vilasaha, Savilasa Mahamoha. Vilasa is Karya Varga. Karya Varga is all the creation. Karyam is that which is created, isn't it? Karanam and Karyam. Karanam is the cause, Karyam is the effect. Karya Vargam is all the effects which are created from a cause. So Karya Vargaha, Tena Saha Vartata iti Savilasaha. Mula Mahamoha is Mula Jnanam. Mula Jnanam is, that is the Sayeva Graha, that itself is the Makara, that itself is the crocodile. And the only job of the Guru's feet is to swallow that Mahagraha. Shankarananda Padadvaya Samanadhikaranyana. So Shankara and Ananda both are in Samanadhikaranyam, that is in the same gender and same tense. So that means that is the same Supreme Reality, is not different from Pratyagatma. So that is the meaning. Ambujanmane. Ambujanmane is an Ekavachanam. Strictly speaking, it has to be 2 feet, isn't it? Pada Charana Kamalau, we say. But here, Ambujanmane, we are only referring to one. So here the commentator says it is called Jati Ekavachanam. Jati Ekavachanam is when you are referring to both together. So Ambujanma, you can use that word. So we need not go into grammar. So this is the overall meaning is that the Guru is again not different from Supreme Reality, and that Supreme Reality is not different from your own innermost self. And this Supreme Reality is, that is an awareness of that Supreme Reality, or an understanding of that Supreme Reality will actually swallow all this moha. An understanding of that Supreme Reality is going to remove, take off, swallow this Mahamoha, the great delusion, which has caught us like a crocodile has caught us. Just like a crocodile catches a person, similarly this Mahamoha has caught the whole world. So this Gurupada Ambujanma is capable of swallowing that thing. So which means we have to follow, we have to respect that Gurupada Ambujanma, and we have to try to get, we should strive for that particular awareness. So that is what it means. Then the next shloka also is like that. Tat padam buruhadvandva dvandva seva nirmala chetasam sukha bodhaya tattvasya vivekoyam vidhiyate. Tattvasya sukha bodhaya vivekaha ayam vidhiyate. So tat pada amburuha dvandva seva nirmala chetasam. So we will see the shloka first. Tat. Tat means tasya. Tasya means of that Guru. Of that Guru. Pada amburuha dvandva. Amburuham is again Kamala. Amburuha. Amburuha is again lotus. Amburuha dvandva. The lotus. The two. Dvandva is the two. The two lotuses, let us say. Amburuha dvandva. Seva. Seva is by following. Seva, not necessarily worshipping and then washing the feet, etc. Amburuha dvandva seva means you are following the Guru's instruction. That means you are doing Shravana, Manana, Nididhyana in his Nididhyasana under his supervision. So that is what seva. Seva is not necessarily, of course that seva also maybe it can be there, it is not prohibited. So seva, not by not rubbing the feet, you will not become wise by merely rubbing the feet of a Guru. That as we said, as we saw earlier, Amburuha also signifies that purity. Amburuha, that Kamalam symbolizes purity. It is unaffected by any sort of impurity. So that sort of purity you have to follow. So that is Seva Nirmala Chetasam. He is also saying Nirmala Chetasa. That is the people, those people whose say Antahkarana, whose Antahkarana is whose minds have been purified by following the feet of. So it means by doing the service, by doing Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam as told by the Guru. For them, Sukha Bodhaya. That means this Nirmala Chetas is a precondition. This Nirmala Chetas, that is pure mind, is a precondition. Without pure mind, if a person reads this also, he will not be able to, he will not bother. He will not bother, and some of the things he will tick off, some of the things he will laugh away, and then only a person of pure mind. Pure mind means a totally open mind, totally pure mind who has, who has risen above this raga, dvesha, etc. Only a jnani can totally rise above raga, dvesha. But this man, as a sadhaka, he is consciously practicing all that. As a sadhaka, he is consciously trying to practice shama, dhamma and all those things. So a person who is in that path, a person who is in that spiritual path, for them, sukha bodhaya tattvasya sukha bodhaya. In order to easily communicate the tattva. Bodha means teaching. Sukha bodhaya means for happily teaching. What? Tattvam vivekaha ayam vidhiyate. This sort of distinguishing or analysis, let us say. Discrimination sometimes can be misunderstood also. It can be misunderstood like racial discrimination or caste discrimination, not that type of discrimination. Let us say analysis or investigation. Vivekaha ayam vidhiyate. Vidhiyate means it is being done. So this commentator, of course, here, there are one or two words which are to be noted. That is tattva. Tattva means anaropita swarupasya. Tattvasya anaropita swarupasya. So the meaning of tattva is anaropita swarupam. That is, on everything there is something which is aropita. So this is aropa is something which we have to understand. So the easiest example is mrut and ghatam. Mrut is clay, ordinary soil you take, ordinary clay you take. That is the tattva, that is the reality. And from that mrut, you produce 100 varieties of utensils. It can be ghata, sharava, various types of say utensils. You produce 100 varieties of jars you produce from the same clay. Or you take gold. From gold, you can produce thousands and thousands of varieties of ornaments. So, gold is the tattvam, the ornament, the necklace, the ring or chain. These are all the swarup. This is the aropita rupam. Gold is the tattvam. Aropita rupam is the ring. Gold is the tattvam and aropita rupam is a chain. And similarly, ghatam, the mrut is the tattvam. Aropita rupam is various ghatam, sharavam, all those things are the aropita. That is something which is attributed to that, or so something which is superimposed on that. So similarly, what is the tattvam of an individual? The reality of an individual. The reality of an individual, okay, he is going to analyze and tell us. But of course, he is going to say, no great suspense in this, he is going to say that your reality is, you are that Satyam Jnanam Anantam. What is defined as Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that infinitely existing consciousness, which is the definition of Brahman. Your essential nature is that, he is going to say that. So I have revealed that secret in advance. So that suspense, let us say. So but he wants to derive and say, that you are that. So tattvasya bodhaya. So in order to explain that tattvam, then here he is also explaining, he says, vakshamanasya vivekaha aropitat panchakoshadi lakshanat jagatah vivechanam vidhiyate kriyate ityarthaha. Then what is it that is aropita on Brahman? On Brahma, or rather on this pratyagatma which is jivatma, what is it which is aropita? What is it which is superimposed on him? The pancha koshas are superimposed on him. That is the whole body-mind complex, which is this five koshas, which we are going to see even in this book, which we have seen earlier also in Taittiriya and also in Viveka Chudamani. So the same thing, vakshamanasya vivekaha. Vivekam is that sort of analysis or distinguishing. It will be done. So that is what is the meaning. So sukhabodhaya tattvasya. So in order to happily, or rather in a very pleasant manner, or in a happy in the sense, in a sukha, easily, let us sukha is easily, in order to make the student easily understand. Sukha is not exactly happy, easily understand. So therefore, that reason that viveka is being done. So that is what it is. And in two slokas, the main prayer is over. Now we are getting into straight away he is getting into the subject. Now the question is, he wants to analyze what exactly is the chit, or rather what is called consciousness, what is the nature of intelligence or consciousness. So he wants to examine in the next few shlokas. This shloka, third shloka, Shabda Sparshadayo Vedya Vaichitriyad Jagare Pruthak Tato Vibhakta Tat Samvit Aikarupyan Nabhidyate. Shabda Sparsha Adayaha Vedya is Vedyaha. Vedyaha means those who which are Vishaya, which have to be known, they are the objects. We know what is a Vedyam. Vid means to know. Vedya means that which can be known. An object, something which can be objectified. So that is what is Vedyam. Shabda Sparshadayaha Vedyaha. That is what are the Shabda Sparsha Adayaha. Adi means etc. There are 5 things which we cognize, 5 objects which we cognize, that is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda means sound, Sparsha is a touch, then Rupa is a form, Rasa is a taste, Gandha is smell. So these 5 things, these are cognized by the 5 senses. And these 5 senses they cognize, and then the impression is carried on to the mind, and then the mind is the thing which processes the whole thing and then understands all these things. So these 5 are the cognitions which we have. Shabda Sparshadayaha Vedyaha. These are the Vishayaha. And how are they known? Then they are known as Vaichitriyat Jagare Pruthak. Pruthak Vedyaha. Pruthak means separately. Separately they are Vedyaha. Separately known. They are known separately. Why? Vaichitriyat. Vaichitriyat means because they possess different characteristics, different distinguishing features. For example, this pen, the pen is having some distinguishing features. So some other thing like a phone, this is having some other distinguishing features. It is white on one side and then it is something else dark on another side. So there are so many distinguishing things. So because of these distinguishing characteristics, we notice them as totally different. And that is we are now analyzing this Jagrada Avastha, Vaichitriyat Jagare Pruthak. So before that we have to see one thing. Before analyzing what is called say consciousness, we have to see that the human being has got about 3 states. That is, all human experience is in 3 states. That is Jagrada Avastha, that is waking state, and the next is dream state, and the next is deep sleep state, dreamless sleep. So these are the 3 states which are there for every living being. Assuming that even a donkey dreams, and assuming that even a dog or even a mosquito dreams. So, of course, it is having Antahkarana, there is no dispute about it. We don't know whether it really dreams. It may be dreaming, we do not know. So, these are the 3 states. So, in all these 3 states, intelligence is there. So, that is what is the point which he is going to prove. So, for that, the first step is, as a first step, he is analyzing the Jagrada Avastha. In Jagrada Avastha, right from morning till evening, we interact with so many people, we see so many things, and all these things which we interact and which we see, all these things which leave an impression in our mind, and all these things, they are also distinguished from one another. You interact with A, you interact with B, then you go to the market, you buy some vegetables, and that vegetable is not a person, and person is not a vegetable. So there are so many things which are distinctly known. So Vaichitriyat, because of their different features, they are known differently. But Tato Vibhakta Tat Samvit, Tataha Tat Samvit Vibhakta Tat Samvit Aikarupyat Nabhidyate. Vibhakta, Tato Vibhakta Tat Samvit. Tat Samvit means the Jnanam. Samvit means Jnanam. Samvit is in Strilinga. Samvit is in Strilinga. Tato Vibhakta Tat Samvit. That Samvit is Vibhakta. That is the reason why it is called Vibhakta. Samvit Vibhakta. Vibhakta means it is distinguished from the object. That is, knowledge is something which is distinguished from the object. So this is one point which we have to understand. You see a pen. Suppose you see a pen. So there are certain features for this pencil, let us say. The pencil is so many inches long, and then it is dark, etc., etc. These are some features. So these are features, the vastu is something different, and the knowledge which knows it is something different. Knowledge, you may have the knowledge of a pen, knowledge of a pencil. It doesn't mean knowledge of a pencil doesn't mean that knowledge of a pencil means some descriptive features of a pencil, that's all. Knowledge of a pencil is that means that only some descriptive features of a pencil, it is so long, it is so short, etc., etc. But knowledge itself is something which is different from the pencil. So similarly, knowledge, the same knowledge or consciousness which knows the pencil, it also knows the cell phone. The same knowledge or consciousness which knows these two knows the book. The same knowledge sees another object. The same knowledge sees you. The same consciousness or knowledge. Let us use it synonymously. So these are this knowledge is the same. It is something which is distinguished from the objects. Object is totally different. Knowledge is something which is different. Knowledge is one. It is like that is the sun's light. The sun's light which is falling say equally on all the things. That is something distinct. That is not connected to the objects. That has nothing to do with the objects. In the light of that sun, you are able to see so many things. But then this object has nothing to do with that. Object is totally distinct from that. So the knower is something which is totally different from the known. So this is the only thing which we have to know. The knower is something which is different from known, and the known, that is Vedyam, may be different. Vedyam may be so many varieties, hundreds and hundreds of varieties of objects may be there. But the knower is one and the same. There is no difference in there is no distinction, there is no division, there is no different consciousness. One particular consciousness knows this, another particular consciousness knows that, etc., etc. It is not like that. Only one consciousness knows a stone, only one consciousness knows a flower, no one consciousness knows a vegetable, one consciousness knows a person. So this is what it is. Consciousness is one. So that is Tat Samvit, that particular Samvit, Tasya Samvit. Tat Samvit means Tasya Jnanam. That Jnanam is Tato Vibhakta. That is, it is something which is different from the object. Tataha Vibhakta means from the object. Tataha is from the object, from the objects. Vibhakta, Tat Samvit. Then Aikarupyat na vidyate. Aikarupyat means it is homogeneous in nature. Aikarupyat, Ekarupam. Ekarupam is one in nature. Knowledge doesn't differ. Consciousness, the nature of consciousness does not differ. Consciousness is one and the same. The same consciousness which sees a pen, it sees some other object. The same consciousness looks at a person. The same consciousness enables you to enjoy some dinner and all that. So the same consciousness knows all the things, illumines all the things, just as the sun's light is illumining all the objects equally. Is it clear? If we see one or two shlokas, I will read out some lines. So here, what the commentator writes is, Jiva Brahmanoho ekatva lakshana vishaya sambhavanaya jivasya satyajnanadi rupatam didarshaishuhu. He is actually revealing the secret of Vidyaranya. That is, he is also revealing, or rather revealing the suspense, let us say. So he is saying that the objective of the writer is to show the oneness of Jiva and Brahmana. Jiva Brahmanoho ekatva lakshana vishaya sambhavanaya. That is, in order to show that Jiva is not different from Brahma, what should we do? We should, if we want to say that the two things are same, we have to show that these two things have identical features, isn't it? If you want to say that one pencil is the same as another pencil, you have to say that the same pencil, the same, it is also 6 inches long, some 8 inches or 10 inches long. The other pencil also is about 8-9 inches long. That is also sharp, this is also sharp, black. So like that all things have to be told, isn't it? So similarly, if you want to equate Jiva with Brahman, what should you do? You have to know the qualities of Brahman. You have to also know the qualities of a Jiva. So you know the qualities of Brahman. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is something which is told in the Shruti, and that is something which is not refuted at all. That is an infinitely existing consciousness is that supreme reality. There is no dispute about it, that. But only regarding Jiva we do not know. So if we want to know what is the nature of this Jiva, you have to somehow establish that Jiva also is not different from that. So that is his plan. And this writer's, the Vidyaranya's plan is to show the equation between Jiva and Brahma right in the very beginning. So that is why I said he is catching the bull by the horns, holding the bull by the horns right in the beginning. So Jiva Brahmanoho ekatva lakshana sambhavanaya jivasya satyajnanadi rupatam didarshaishuhu. He wants to show the Satya Jnanadi Rupata. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That is the nature of Jiva also. He wants to show that. So as a first step, he is analyzing the consciousness. So Sat, Chit and Ananta, three factors are there. So he has to see what is Sat and what is Chit and what is Ananta. So first he is going to Chit. And Chit, as we saw, we are having three stages: Jagrada Avastha, Swapna Avastha and Sushupti Avastha. So first he is examining the Jagrada Avastha, the first step. So what he is examining in the Jagrada Avastha, he is again applying the same logic to say Swapna Avastha. He will apply the same logic to Sushupti Avastha also. So that we will see. So here we will complete this Bhashyam in this. Bhashyam means commentary in this. So here what is he doing? Jagare, Jagrada Avastha. What is Jagrada Avastha? Indriyaihi arthopalabdhihi jagaritam, he says. Indriyaihi arthopalabdhi. Jagrada Avastha is one state where you are able to cognize external objects with your indriyas. That is what is Jagrada Avastha. Then Shabda Sparshadayaha. Shabda Sparshadayaha, all these things, Shabda Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, these are the objects. Then Samvit, Shabdadinam, Samvit, Jnanam. Samvit means Jnanam. Jnanam is a word which is in Napumsakalinga. Samvit is Strilinga. Pumlinga, if you see, Bodhaha, Sabodhaha. The next shloka is going to say Sabodhaha. Bodha is Pumlinga. Samvit is Strilinga. Jnanam is Napumsakalinga. So for the meaning is same. Although different words are used, meaning is same. Consciousness or Jnanam. Aikarupyat. Then Samvid iti ekakarena avabhasamanatvat. Gaganamiva na vidyate. Gaganamiva. It is like space. Intelligence is something like a space. Consciousness is something like a space. It doesn't change. In that space you put some ghata, you put something else, something else, something else. So they may change, but the jnanam itself does not change. So Shabda Samvit Sparsha Samvido na vidyate. That is the jnanam of Shabdam. It doesn't differ from the jnanam of say Sparsha Samvit. It doesn't differ from the jnanam of the feeling of touch. So the same jnanam, the same consciousness is seeing something, the same consciousness is hearing something, the same consciousness is tasting something, the same consciousness is feeling something. So in the consciousness there is no difference. The objects may differ, but the consciousness is one and the same. So that is what is the first shloka. Eva samvido gaganasya aupadhika bhedena api bhinna vyavaharopapatto. All these upadhis may change, but akasha will not change. Different upadhis may change. So it is jnanam is like that. So that is what is this third shloka. We will see the next shloka in which he applies the same thing to Swapana and also to Sushupti. So we will see that. Harihi Om Tat Sat.